Easy to use is an important rating criterion, but it means a lot of things. Today we'll break down usability into 7 different criteria so you can pick the right ones and make better decisions. Our last video covered 5 common criteria used in decision making: inexpensive, durable, reliable, safe, and sustainable. In this video, we'll cover one more complex criterion, easy to use, which is sometimes written as intuitive to use. It's very hard for us to assess this in our own designs because we know them so well. It's hard to imagine what it would be like to see them for the first time. To understand it, we're going to break down usability into its aspects: learnable and memorable, accessible, effective and efficient, low error rate, and high task completion rate. By understanding the differences, we can choose the right ones for the designs we're rating, and that will prevent us from confusing our customers and reducing their satisfaction. When your users first see your design, they need to decide if it's worth it. We tend to think about dollar cost versus benefits, but users look at other costs too. Time, frustration, what will their friends think? Your users will spend time and effort understanding your design. If you put time and effort into increasing usability, it will save your users time and frustration. Then your users can spend their time enjoying your design. They may even have some time left over for a great review. Learnable and memorable are what we usually think of for usability. How long does it take to learn? And when we come back to it, do we remember how to use it? Users often have a few ways to do something. They could cook on a stove or in an Instant Pot. They could take the bus or walk to work. To get chosen, your way must be the better way. So first, we focus on the process of using your design. Write down everything your design does and everything your user does, in order. You could do this in a flowchart or a functional map. Then decide if the design should be doing more of the steps. Can you take some of the load off of your user and put it onto your design? Second, if you have a manual, make it amazing. And third, you should probably have an instructional video. It doesn't have to be movie quality, it just has to be a clear demonstration. Then measure how long it takes for someone else to learn your design, because you are not a good judge of this metric. Accessible. We all have a wide range of abilities. Some of us have better working memory, and some of us have better muscle memory. Our goal is to serve as wide an audience as possible. We want to include people. The methods to improve accessibility depend on whether your design is a device, software, or a process. But a few principles work for all of them. If you can, use multiple senses. Can you make the inputs and outputs use sight, touch, and sound? For visual cues and language, use clear and simple language and avoid acronyms and jargon. For text, increase contrast. Use readable fonts and increase the font size. Small text leaves a lot of beautiful white space, but it's difficult to read. For audio cues and language, again, use clear and simple language as well as closed captioning or other visual signals like lights. There are likely a lot of assistive technologies in your field, so find them and ensure your design is compatible. And when you are prototyping, choose people with a wide range of abilities. Effective and efficient. Your design is doing a job for your user. Effectiveness looks at how well your user can complete that job. Efficiency looks at how quickly or with how little energy. As always, the simpler process wins, so start with your flowchart or functional map. Part of effectiveness is knowing where your system boundary is. Your design doesn't do everything, and you have to make sure that the rest of the job is being done. Let's say you're designing a stove. Your user could use their own timer, or maybe you should include a timer in the stove. That timer could just alert the user, or it could turn the stove off when it's done, like a microwave does. Once you're sure that all the jobs are being done, the next step in effectiveness is to ensure that all the jobs are being done well. Look at each box in your process flowchart, define the metrics, and ensure your design meets them. Some of this data could be in your original requirement list. Efficiency is just one of these metrics for each step, time. You can test all of this with a stopwatch, just like they do in a factory. Your user is typically not a factory worker, but you still want a process that they can easily flow through. The last two criteria are low error rate and high task completion rate. Error rate tells you how often your user makes a mistake. A high error rate is likely a process complexity problem. If your process is as simple as possible, consider writing the steps on the design so your users don't have to refer to the manual. You can also simplify your user interface to remove confusion. Don't make users jump from one end of the design to the other end to complete a task. Also use familiar design patterns. For example, applications have the home button top left and the off button top right. Task completion rate is how often your user completes the job. A great stapler works 100% of the time, but they are hard to come by. To solve these issues, focus on function and reliability. Every time your user steps up to your design, you must help them get the job done. So these criteria are maybe the most important usability criteria. Users will abandon a design that doesn't get the job done. You can't win in every criterion. When you write your criteria list, start with criteria that describe great function. A stapler must staple. Then bring in some of the common criteria from the last video: inexpensive, durable, reliable, safe, and sustainable. Then pick a few usability criteria, or just sum them up into easy or intuitive to use. And when you're weighting your criteria, weight the functional criteria heaviest and divide the remaining points between these other criteria. That will keep your users happy on all fronts. And if it's time for you to start turning your ideas into products, the Heroic Design Workbook is a complete and rigorous product design process that will help you create remarkable products. A link is in the notes. Thank you for your time and attention. I'll see you soon.